How's it going, everyone? Hi. Thanks for coming. Thank you.
Hi, you guys. I do a lot of these, and it's rarely this packed, so I know that you guys are super excited about this.
Thank you.
Let's get started. I was sort of stalking your Twitter recently, and I saw that on the anniversary of you coming out, you said that you are the gayest that you've ever been in both senses of that word. And I want to know, what does that mean to you? Like, what has changed in the last 6 years for you that you could tweet something like that?
I think, when I was like really, really young, I actually thought I was never, ever going to come out, like ever. I just assumed that that was going to be a secret that I kept my entire life kind of thing. And so, yeah, to be like 6 years afterwards, just as open as I am and being able to do whatever I want and wear whatever I want and move my body the way that I want on stage and all that stuff without fear of, I think I had quite a bit of internalized homophobia growing up, that I was super, super conscious from a very, very young age of the way that I stood and the way that my hand fell, stupid, stereotypical stuff that somehow had been kind of ingrained in me at a very, very young age. Not from my parents even, but just I don't know, I guess, just societal kind of pressures. And so to now be at this point where I feel like I really can kind of just be whoever I want, and I mean that really, really genuinely, it feels really, really good, and it makes me very, very happy. So,
how do you feel like you purge some of that internalized homophobia? Because I'm sure you have fans who are in your place, maybe not where you are now, but feel that way too. Like they worry about how they stand or how they talk, and they're in high school or whatever. How did you get to that point?
To be honest, I think turning to the internet was a big one for me. Just realizing that there was other people out there like me, you know what I mean? Yeah, I remember meeting gay people when I was young, and all I could think the entire time was oh my God, you're gay. And it was such a kind of defining thing for me as a kid, because I think I knew in the back of my mind that that was something that I was too, and so it was so interesting to me. And then I think the more kind of people I met and the more people I saw online that were LGBT, it kind of normalized it, and I realized that there is obviously so much more to a person than just that. And so I think that once I started to realize that, it made a big difference for me personally, the way that I felt about myself,
Yeah, I ask this question to a lot of queer artists, and the answer is always different, but I wonder, if you weren't queer, do you think that you would be the artist you are now? How important is your queerness to your art? Some people say, it doesn't matter at all, I'm an artist, that's all that's important. Other people say, no, if I hadn't grown up this way, if I hadn't been a little bit different maybe, I don't think I would be the artist I am today. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
That's a really, really good question. I don't know. A couple of months ago, someone asked me in an interview, for the first time ever, somebody asked me, do I think my sexuality has helped my career? And I felt super, super uncomfortable with the question for a second. But then I thought about it, and I was like, what a incredible, incredible time. I immediately felt absolutely elated afterwards that that's even a question that somebody would ask, that that's a thought, that being not straight is not something that will hinder you anymore, but even potentially actually be a positive thing, which is exactly what it should be. And I was so excited that we kind of reached that point. And so for me, I don't know, I'm totally open to the idea that that I would not be where I am without being who I am. And I do think as well, now that I think about it, kind of in hindsight, I think feeling sort of other from a very young age made me maybe kind of look inward a lot more. And so I think it's probably helped with my writing, probably made me stay home a little bit more. And probably, I was homeschooled from 14 onwards for work stuff, but also I never really liked school, and I think a lot of that was because of my sexuality, and I only came out after I left kind of traditional schooling. And so, yeah, maybe I wouldn't have done that had I not have, been gay. So I don't know, I'd be really, really interested to see. I think I'd probably be a little bit more of a toned down, lamer version of myself.
It's interesting though, we actually had an essay on the Huffington Post last week about you, and it was about the fact that, you're so unapologetically queer. And that word gets used a lot with you, I think, unapologetically.
Right.
But at the same time, we haven't had a gay pop star that's really been just huge. like a
Right.
Bruno Mars or someone like Justin Bieber.
Right.
And so they were sort of looking at your career and trying to figure out if you could be that next person. I'm wondering what you think about why we haven't had that person yet, and if that's even something that you want. Is that something that you're interested in being this kind of global pop star, or are you kind of happy in the lane that you're driving in now?
As far as why we haven't had it so far, I'm not sure. I mean, I think we're the closest now. It's more likely now than it's ever been before that kind of thing will happen, and I think it's really, really important, and I personally can't wait for that to happen. As far as if that's something that I want, I don't know. I'm really, really happy right now with I am getting to do absolutely everything that I've ever dreamt of. And so, yeah, I don't know. If it happens, it happens. But if it doesn't, I'm so stoked with how everything's going.
Yeah. Is it important for you to be a role model? I think that question happens a lot, and people say, no, I just want to be an artist. And if people look up to me and that comes along with it, that's great. But it's not something that I am looking for or intending to do. Is that the same with you, or is that something that's actually important to you?
I think I accept responsibility. You know what I mean? I think even just having a platform, I think comes with responsibility, and you need to just make sure that you're using your voice wisely, because your words kind of carry a lot of weight. And so yeah, I think I have kind of accepted that as part of everything, but I by no means have ever kind of strived to be that. I now just think about what I do a lot and try my best to be a good person and kind of be the person that I would have appreciated when I was younger,
It's interesting where you're talking about, maybe your queerness being an asset, and someone asking you about that, maybe it's helped you succeed even. And I think we look at now, there are artists who are not queer, who are courting queer fans even,
Right.
Nick Jonas has actually gotten a lot of heat for
Right,
that,
yeah.
and people have called him out and said, are you Gaybaiting? What's going on with that? Do you think that, yeah, it's true, and so I'm wondering if you think that there's sort of responsibility on the other end for straight artists who are in the pop world now, when they come to queer fans, do they need to sort of be respectful or think about what they're doing? Do you think Gaybaiting is a thing, and do you think it's a problem?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that people should, everyone should kind of treat the issue of queerness with sensitivity, because it's a very sensitive issue for a lot of people. It's something that's very, very dear to a lot of people and very close to a lot of people. And so, it's the same for me as on YouTube, people will sometimes post a video with a clickbaity title, something about coming out, or they'll put two boys kissing in the thumbnail, and it's a straight YouTuber just literally just doing it for views. And to me personally, that part of YouTube, that coming out genre, or is such a sacred place for me personally, and I know for a lot of other people, that's something that will piss me off a little bit. I think that's something that people should absolutely respect. As far as Nick Jonas is just a hot guy. He can't, he's gonna get gay fans, and I fully accept him as and I'm thankful for people like him as allies, and yeah, I think as long as he's respectful, which I think he has been up until this point, I think it's completely cool. I appreciate, I'd much rather have people like Nick Jonas in the world than people who aren't speaking about these issues at all.
Yeah, totally. There's a great quote from Audre Lorde, and she said, "The personal is the political." Your music is very personal, I think.
Right.
Do you think of your music as political as well?
Not really, no. I mean, I think, no. Sometimes I think it has kind of social, repercussions, but I don't see myself as a political figure or anything like that, or, yeah, my music is politically charged.
And yet you're not afraid to talk about political things. I mean, I've seen your Twitter, you talk about, I think a couple weeks ago you were saying, I don't know, I'm a white guy from Australia, do I get to talk about race matters? Mm-hmm. But you still go there, so those issues are still important to you, obviously.
They're very important to me, yeah. It's that thing of, I try my best to constantly think really long and hard about, is my voice appreciated I have this kind of platform and I have this voice, is my voice appreciated or needed in this matter? Is there anything that I can, say to kind of help things progress? And if not, then I try and keep my mouth shut. And if yes, I would do my very, very best to educate myself as much as I possibly can, and then speak out.
You've been on the internet a long time, obviously. What do you get from that community that you think you probably wouldn't get if you weren't on the internet, if you hadn't come up that way?
I get a lot personally from it. You know, I find it very hard to get lonely when I'm like, you know, I'll be in somewhere that I've never been before in like a hotel room, and I'll open my like Twitter app, and there'll be a bunch of, you know, people, no matter what time it is, there's always people online. And yeah, you know, I turn to it a lot personally just for like comfort kind of thing. And then as well, I obviously cherish so much the relationship that I have with the people that, you know, tweet me on like a daily basis, and I think they're super, super funny and cool, and it, you know, it's like, it feels like a real friendship.
Yeah, and it seems like that couldn't exist even like 10 years ago, which
Right.
is, I think, a really cool thing for artists now, that they can have that kind of relationship with their fans.
Totally.
You were saying in interviews, I think even a couple years ago, that like there is no line for you in terms of what's too personal
Right.
to write about or to talk about. And then more recently, you've said, actually, there is a line. There are some things that are too personal.
Yeah.
Why did you decide that you needed to draw a line, and what are those things that are too personal for you?
I think the line was always there. I was just really not kind of conscious of it. You know, for me, it's like I would never invite a film crew in to make a reality show about my family, for example. You know what I mean? Like, those relationships are something that are like for me and my family, and that's it. And you know, even my friendships, I've had my same friends since I was like 2, back home in Perth, and you know, those are things that are just not public at all. And we just kind of, it's nice to, when you're with each other, you're like with each other, and it's not for anyone else kind of thing. And now, especially as well, now that I think I spend so much of my life doing this like such public stuff, when I do find those things that are private to me, I really, really actually enjoy the privacy, and kind of get a little bit uncomfortable sometimes when those matters are made public against my will. You know, I feel like if I want to talk about something, I absolutely will, and I feel super, super comfortable with my audience and the people who, you know, follow me online and stuff. And so, yeah, if I want to talk about something, I will, and if I'm not, chances are it's something that I would like to keep personal and private.
How do you keep those relationships going with friends and family? I mean, I think a lot of people have talked about the pressure that fame brings on, and that people change. Even if you don't change, the people who are around you maybe change.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do to maintain those relationships?
I'm so lucky. The people that I like really, really care about in my life don't give a single, I don't think we can swear on this thing, but they don't care. They don't give a shit about any of this stuff that's going on. They're stoked for me and very, very excited and very, very proud. But like, my friends don't really like, you know, I could absolutely not be doing any of this and go home, and I could be at uni and my friends would still be my best friends. And so that to me is a very kind of comforting thing. And then as far as communication, time changes really, really hard. So instead of phone calls, we do voice notes. And I'll record like a 20-minute voice note and send it to my friends like maybe once a week.
I love that.
Yeah.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing this? Was there an alternate plan, or you know, what are your other interests?
I would definitely be in the creative industries in some capacity. I love, you know, film, music. I would love to, you know, I love photoshopping. Like I think I would be a retoucher probably. And then if I really, really couldn't be in anything creative, I think I'd like to be a drugs and alcohol counselor. Yeah.
Is there a personal reason for that, or?
Not really.
Yeah?
I used to watch, what's that TV show? Intervention a lot as a kid, and always thought it was like very, very interesting.
What are some of the more, or less actually, glamorous parts of your job? I think everyone sees this kind of thing and the signings and the concerts. What goes on behind the scenes that really takes a toll on you, or that you wish you didn't have to deal with?
I think, I mean, I really can't complain about anything, like at all. I really just, I mean, I catch myself about to say what I think I'm about to say, and then I'm like, that is so dumb. Like me complaining about long flights and stuff like that. I'm so lucky that I even get to, you know, go on planes in the first place. So I don't know. Like, if I had to pick one thing, I wish that I would really, really like air travel to progress. Like, I want there to be quicker ways to get around the world.
Teleport.
Yeah, something like that.
Has there been one moment that has really stuck out for you that you feel like you're the most proud of, or that you were like, I can't believe I got to do that? Like it was a magazine cover or a performance. Is there something that sticks out to you?
Two things sort of come to mind. One was the cover of Out magazine. That was a big deal for me. And then the other was performing at the Billboard Awards. I think that that is the kind of moment where it's just like, even if I fluked this, and I don't know how I like did it, I don't know how I ended up in this room, I don't know how I ended up on the stage, but I like did it. And that's a really, really cool thing for me to kind of know for the rest of my life, you know? When you're like in that room and knowing the people that are in that room, one of the first songs that I ever sang was The Prayer by Celine Dion and Andrea Bocelli. And when I was about to perform on the billboards, there was a screen like down and blocking me off, and we were all getting set up. And on the stage, facing the crowd, was Celine Dion performing. And I'm like getting ready to sing, and I'm just listening to Celine Dion, and I know she's like right on the other side of this barrier. And that's like, at that point, it's just like, I just wish that I could show my like little self that moment, because it really felt like, sweet, I did it. I did this,
Yeah, definitely. When you're performing the album, you're on tour, do the songs change for you from when you recorded them? Do they have a different meaning now? Or do you go back to that place that you were when you were writing that song and sort of relive those moments?
No, I think they definitely change. Yeah, the meanings of the song changes. It's kind of weird. It's the same as, you'd think that they would be so tied to a specific meaning, and a lot of them are, and you have like flashbacks and stuff like that. But it's the same as when you're listening to like another artist's music and you just kind of apply it to your own life. I sort of apply the songs to my like current set of circumstances.
What else do you want to do? I mean, you've done a lot already, but do you have things on a list that you're like, I have to do this. This is going to be a big deal for me if I get to do this, or meet someone?
I'm really like satisfied. I think, with everything that's going on, I think it could have kind of gone one of two ways, in that I think a lot of people, when this would happen to them, they would be like, okay, I need more now, and sometimes I feel like that, but very, very rarely. Most of the time I just feel like satisfied and kind of relieved. I feel like I can relax now and kind of just do whatever I want, whatever's like most fun to me at the time. I want to do different stuff. I want to like try writing children's books, and I want to, get an apartment and like buy furniture and I don't know, not travel for a bit, and yeah, just like.
Do you feel like you've missed out on any of that stuff because of this, or
Not
you're
really.
just like everything will come when it's supposed to come?
Yeah, everything will come when it's supposed to come. I think. I'm 21, and yeah, I feel just like really relaxed. I feel it's the most like relieving feeling in the world to like have set my mind to this one thing ever since I was a really, really little kid, and to feel like it's like actually happening. Every day I'm just so thankful and grateful, and yeah, enjoying it. I'm relaxed.
I'm sure there are some people in here who would love to be doing what you're doing. What would be your number one piece of advice if someone was trying to make it right now? What would you tell them?
I would say just start. I think that's like the hardest thing to do is to like initially get going. And now with the internet, you can do it. You know what I mean? You can really, really do it because it's like happening to me. And so yeah, I think now as a 21-year-old, I don't know if I would start posting online. I'm really happy that I did it when I was like 12 and super naive. And I think, if you can put away any kind of fear of people thinking a certain thing or, like judging you or whatever, and just, find what you're passionate about, make it, and just put it out in the world and kind of like share it. If you can do that, then I highly, highly, highly recommend it.
We were talking backstage. You said you have a couple days off coming up.
Yeah.
What is your sort of dream day off? If you can do anything, you can be anywhere. Take me from like waking up till you go to bed. What would that day be like?
So ideally it's warm wherever I am. Go for breakfast, avocado toast, most likely. And then I like going to like parks and stuff like that, maybe like meditate in a park or something like that. And then I like doing like activities, escape rooms or like going to see a movie or something like that. That'll be really, really fun. Or it depends what's been going on. If it's been like crazy busy and I'm alone in a city, on an off day, I will not leave my hotel room. I'll just stay in and like watch Real Housewives.
I saw you. You've been watching the Real Housewives. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think now questions from you guys.
Sure.
Cool.
We're going to start with a question from an online viewer. So Brianna says, how many songs did you write before picking the songs for Blue Neighborhood, and what was your process like?
Thanks for the question. I think I wrote well over 50. I don't know the exact amount, but yeah, a lot. And then kind of, it was not like I wrote all of these songs and then at the very, very end, I was like, okay, which am I going to pick? It was, as I was going, I was like, okay, I know that song that I wrote today I'm not happy with, or, oh my gosh, I think I wrote something special today that's going to make it, I think, to the album. And yeah, it was just this long process of kind of writing a lot of really, really bad stuff and some good stuff, and letting myself write anything that kind of came to mind. Even if during the session I was like, this absolutely is not right, I kind of kept going with it just because I wanted to explore, you know, what would happen if I wrote like a country song? Like, I don't know, you know. To me, for example, my song Heaven, when I first wrote the verse melody, I was like, that's a country melody. That sounds like a country song. And I almost like stopped myself. And then I was like, no, I'm going to keep going and just kind of see what happens with it. And I'm really happy that I did, so yeah.
Hi, Troy.
Hi, you're so cute.
When you were a kid,
Yeah.
How did you feel being in the Wolverine movie?
Good question. Thank you for the question. I was so scared. I was really, really, really scared. I had never acted before, and so I just kind of like accidentally got this movie part because it was my first ever audition, and I didn't expect anything to happen, and all of a sudden I was like on set. But it was really, really cool. I mean, I got to get like claws and stuff like that, and I love the X-Men movies. It was like every kid's dream. Yeah. Thanks for the question.
Hey, Troy boy.
Hi.
I was wondering, would you ever consider for your second album or for your YouTube channel to do a song with Mama Mellet or Tide Levi? Because like you and Mama Mellet covering like Happy Little Pill or Suburbia is like my dream.
Oh, really? Okay. My mum is probably watching this at home and is very, very excited that you're asking this question, I know. Maybe, yeah. My brother, Tide, has just started getting into production, like music production, and he is so annoyingly good already that I'm sure we'll do something in the future together. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Cute glitter as well. No worries.
Hi, Troy.
Hi.
I'm Troy Halsey's on Twitter. So,
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So I'm like a you and Halsey fan, obviously. So what is your favorite Halsey song? And if you wanna, can you sing a little bit of it?
Ooh, I haven't warmed up or anything like that. You don't want to hear it, trust me. But at the moment, it's the Chainsmokers song as well. It's Closer. Yeah, I love that song, and I'm so proud of everyone involved in that song. Everyone's really, really nice, and it's the #1 song in the country right now. So congrats to everyone involved. Yeah.
Yeah, one more question, you guys.
Yes. Hi, my name is Marissa.
Hi.
One question it's a really personal question.
Ooh.
I am straight, and I don't understand the people hates, people is like different. You, in this situation, you are in the middle of the situation. How you see these feelings about the other people that don't accept what you are?
I think that's a good question. Thank you for asking it. You know, I think in general, humans are like inherently afraid of things that they don't understand or things that are different than them. You know, I know that, you know, for example, like if I think back to any sort of like less than positive experiences I had coming out to people, I think all those people needed to realize was that like I'm the same person as I was before. You know, it's just like this is new information to them, and it's almost like you kind of think your whole life growing up, there are gay people in the world, and I'm just not one of them though, you know what I mean? And then you have this moment of realization where you're like, oh my God, I think I am that, you know, that one thing. Or maybe you're not having it for yourself, but you're like, oh my God, my cousin is that, or my brother is that, or my sister is that, or my mom is that, or my dad, whatever, anyway. And so, yeah, and then I think as soon as you kind of break down that barrier and realize that, like, obviously it's cliche to say, but people are just people, and everyone just wants to, you know, like live freely and love freely. I think that's when you kind of, that's when things will click in people's heads. But if you're not exposed to it, if you're not exposed to a gay person or a queer person, then you could, like, you know, think we have like 3 heads, you know? Yeah.
Cool. Thank you guys for the great questions, and thanks for showing up. And thank you, Troy.
Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Thank you. Thanks.